up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Caged Review, and this is the review for Extreme Rules 2018 for WWE. I'm going to start right off with clinching this by saying I couldn't stand most of this pay-per-view. And I also can't stand that you're calling it Extreme Rules still. You don't have anything extreme about WWE anymore. Everything's PG, everything's politically correct. Take the Extreme Rules pay-per-view off your fucking schedule. There's nothing extreme about it. Nothing. There is not one thing I've seen extreme in Extreme Rules for quite some time. So, having said that, the pre-show I actually did not get to see. You had Sin Cara versus Andrade Cien Almas. I heard it was a decent match, and Andrade won. And then you had New Day versus Sanity, and I heard that was actually a pretty damn good match, which I'm just going to have to go back and watch. And Sanity won. But for Extreme Rules itself, you start out with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt versus the B-Team, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. If anything else about this match had not been surprising, it would have been an average, basic match with nothing to really stand out. However, WWE decided to throw us all a curveball, and the B-Team picks up the win, and they are the new Raw Tag Team Champions, still undefeated as a team, as the B-Team. I like Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. I think they're giving it a lot of effort into their promos lately. They're trying to be funnier. They're trying to do something to catch the eye. But I'll be honest, I don't really see them as champions. I don't see them as tag team champions at all. I think that this shows how little effort WWE has put into the tag team division lately, on Raw especially. And it doesn't work for me. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are now WWE champions. I don't see it. I just don't. I like them. I'm happy for them. I think it's great that they won and they have this moment. But as a fan, I do not think that they are the caliber of superstar that deserves a championship run. That's going to be a theme here tonight, by the way. So Renee interviews Kurt Angle backstage after the match. He says if Brock Lesnar doesn't show up or at least commit to a time when he's going to defend the title, he's going to be stripped of the Universal Championship at Raw. And then you get Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. This is your typical David and Goliath setup match, except I can't stand Baron Corbin in the ring. He is not a good wrestler. 90% of this match was Baron Corbin stopping Finn Balor in his tracks. And then you get the small package roll-up at the end. Finn Balor gets the win. And even though Finn Balor gets the win, they tried to make Baron Corbin look as strong as possible. And I don't understand why they're trying to protect Baron Corbin's image so much. I don't see him as a big superstar ever. And I couldn't care less about the match, to be very honest. So Finn Balor picks up the win, a small package, surprise at the end. Okay. You get a backstage segment after that. Bludgeon Brothers and Team Hell No are fighting backstage. Bludgeon Brothers are beating the hell out of both Kane and Daniel Bryan. They put Kane's ankle in a doorway and hit the door with a sledgehammer, and there you go. So that sets up a struggle later on for Team Hell No. Then you get Asuka versus Carmella with James Ellsworth in a shark cage above the ring. This is where it goes from bad to probably the worst product I've seen in WWE ever. The match sucked. Asuka's in the match, and she is one of the top wrestlers in the women's division, and the match sucked. The gimmick sucked. We all know how a shark cage works. The guy in the cage is going to try to help out the person in the ring somehow. Obviously that happens. You got Ellsworth just throwing weapons left and right down, and the referee's like, hey, what's going on here? But then you get this terrible segment where James Ellsworth somehow has the key to the shark cage, unlocks the door, and then gets hung up upside down. This looked horrible because you could see the gear they have strapped to his body, the harness that they have to keep him hung upside down. You can see the strap on his foot from the harness that has got him connected to the shark cage. It looked terrible. Absolutely horrible. The cage was really low too, so you knew there weren't going to be any suplexes or big high-time flying moves. Everything here was set up terribly. So you got Asuka kicking Ellsworth while he's hung upside down from the cage. Carmella comes in, pushes Asuka headfirst into the cage, gets the win. I guess WWE at this point has just said, fuck you to the fans, and they're saying for everybody who's complaining, we're just going to keep her in your face. That's all I can think of. Because I cannot honestly believe that anybody buys this shit. She sucks entirely. She completely sucks in the ring. She has a very juvenile, immature character. I've always said that, you know, if you have a character that relies on annoyance factor for heel heat, it's lazy and it's untalented. And that defines Carmella's championship run. So she has now beaten Charlotte Flair and Asuka twice. She is poised to be this legitimate champion, even though she's a heel and we know she's cheating and shit like that. It just does not sell ever, anytime. I can't stand. This to me is honestly the worst WWE champion I think I've ever seen. I truly believe that. So absolute garbage. The segment sucked. The match sucked. The execution really sucked. Nothing redeeming about this at all. The very next match, Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura, what could have been a very good match. Shinsuke hits Jeff Hardy with a low blow. Before the match even starts, the referee's not looking. Hits Jeff Hardy with a Kinshasa. He's the new U.S. champion. There was no match to it. So that was complete garbage. And then you have Randy Orton come down and he's staring at Shinsuke. Shinsuke's looking at him with a weird face. And then Randy Orton literally just stomps on Jeff Hardy's balls. Low blow. Blatant low blow. And makes no sense. I don't know. So, two complete shit segments or matches, whatever you want to call them. I don't want to call them matches at all, back to back. Then you have Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. Honestly, not that great of a match. I mean, you had some okay spots, but I think the coolest part of the actual match is Kevin Owens handcuffs Braun Strowman to the ring, gets some licks in, does the little DX suck it chop, and then starts climbing the cage. Braun Strowman breaks the handcuffs, races over to Kevin Owens, who was moving incredibly slow to even get to the cage, and then, of course, even slower to climb up. And Braun Strowman just hops up. I mean, I'll give him credit. He was moving pretty fast for a big guy getting up there. And then it's Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens up on the very top of the cage, and I have to give props to Kevin Owens because he took a hell of a bump here. Braun Strowman actually threw him 20 feet off the cage onto the announce table. There's two parts to that. One, I give Kevin Owens all the credit in the world because it still had to hurt like hell. I mean, I don't care how you fall here. You're still, about a 20-foot drop onto a table. But you could see the deflatable impact pad underneath the table. This is twice in one show that WWE has made it blatantly obvious that they are doing stuff to set up a moment. And it was terrible. So far the only good thing about this night is Kevin Owens taking that bump. And even the bump itself kind of suffered because you can clearly see the support mat there. Then you got Team Hell No versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Kane's out. It's Daniel Bryan versus two monsters, and it's the uphill battle. And they've beaten down on Daniel Bryan. And they finally get Kane come out toward the end. I mean, it was decent at best. At best, it was decent. And this is Daniel Bryan, Kane, and the Bludgeon Brothers. The only good spot was like Luke Harper diving through the ropes to hit Daniel Bryan, who was being held by Eric Rowan. Daniel Bryan moves, so Luke Harper hits Rowan. Other than that, I mean, there really wasn't anything that impressive about this match. So, Bludgeon Brothers pick up the win. Couldn't care less at the end of the day. Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley. I had no vested interest in this match. It turned out to be a little better than I thought. Not terribly. Like, I've seen other people give it a lot of credit. I don't think it was really that good of a match, to be very honest. It was what it was. It was two big guys clobbering each other. And it was successful for that. But, I mean, the only good redeeming thing about it is they finally did not put Roman Reigns in the main event of a pay-per-view, and he lost. And he lost clean to Bobby Lashley. So, that's really the only good thing about it. After that, you have Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss in an Extreme Rules match. So you have an Extreme Rules match that's really not going to be extreme. We already know that. But it was even less extreme because you have two girls here that just didn't want to hit each other with foreign objects. They were using foreign objects, but you could see that they were pulling their shots. And I mean, you could see it very obviously that they were pulling their shots. Not a fan of how that goes. If you're going to go into a match, take the fucking bumps or don't fucking make the match. And that's how I feel. And they did not take the bumps, and you could tell, and it sucked. I've never been a fan of Nia Jax anyway. I never liked her as a wrestler. She is not good in the ring. I have been a fan of Alexa Bliss at times, but I gotta be honest, I wasn't a fan of her tonight. She, like, every time she'd go to swing the chair, you could see her, like, stop and hold it. You know, just before the impact, you could see her, like, stopping the momentum. You either take the fucking bumps or you don't do a fucking Extreme Rules match. Take the bumps or don't do it, because you're not selling what you're promising. And if you're not selling, you're suspending disbelief. Not at all. I mean, it was horrible. So, of course, Mickie James is in Alexa Bliss's corner, Natalya's in Nia Jax's corner. Mickie James tries to get involved. Natalya stops that momentum. Then Alexa Bliss and Mickie James are beating Natalya outside of the ring. Ronda Rousey jumps the barricade, gets involved, starts whooping on Mickie James, and gets hit with a kendo stick by Mickie James when she pins Alexa on the barricade outside. So it actually was kind of pointless to have Ronda Rousey do anything. It really was fucking pointless. Like, she showed up, she threw somebody around, she got hit with a kendo stick, didn't stop anything, didn't have any impact on anything. It was pointless. Shit writing. Alexa Bliss gets the win. At that point, I was like, thank God the match is over. And then you get to the main event, and the only good match of the night, in my opinion, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. I like the way the match was constructed, actually. They made Seth Rollins really strong out of the gate. He got 3-0 advantage at like 20 minutes. So after the first 10 minutes, Seth Rollins has already got 3 wins, 2 legit, and then the third one because Drew McIntyre come in and started wailing up on Seth Rollins. So that was kind of a disqualification win. But then because Drew spent so much time beating on Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler was able to come back very quickly and even the score to 3-3. At 10 minutes left in the match, it was then 3-4 because after the 3 wins that Dolph Ziggler got, he got a 4th. After he was outside, he ran back in the ring. Seth Rollins was on the mat, and he, did his little heel, feet on the ropes, roll-up pin. So, pretty good match. They had some pretty good spots. At the end, Seth Rollins had tied it up. It was 4-4. And he goes and he hits Dolph Ziggler with a curb stomp, and time runs out. So Kurt Angle comes out, says, this is not going to end in a draw. We're going to have a winner. And then immediately they go into sudden death overtime where Drew jumps back up on the apron after he'd been sent to the back, but this is now a new match. I love the writing on that. Distracts Seth Rollins. Dolph Ziggler hits him with his finisher, and Dolph Ziggler gets the win. So that's your entire pay-per-view for Extreme Rules. And I gotta say, it sucked. It sucked really hard. There was one good match and one good spot in another match. It wasn't even a good match, it was just a good spot. So, this proves to me that it was absolutely the best thing I could do to cancel the network and to really not give a shit about WWE anymore, because like, pay-per-views like this are a big fuck you to the fans, honestly. The B team is tag champions. I don't buy it. Baron Corbin and Finn Balor I couldn't give a shit less about. I'm not a fan of Corbin. And I'm starting to not really be a big fan of Finn Balor. I was a big fan of Finn Balor when he first came in, especially to NXT. He had the demon gimmick. And then everybody just got fucking lazy with the demon gimmick and didn't want to use it. No, we're not going to do that because we want him to stay undefeated. Well, that's fucking lazy. You had a great gimmick you're not using. You're fucking stupid. That's how I feel about it. Asuka, Carmella was a disaster. Jeff Hardy, Shinsuke was a disaster. Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens was not a great match. I mean, it was decent for what it was. And I give KO all the credit in the world for taking that bump. At least created a moment for the pay-per-view. At least Kevin Owens fucking tries and puts in the effort to create these moments of pay-per-views where half the fucking roster is too lazy or scared to do it. Team Hell No versus Bludgeon Brothers, not great. Reigns, Lashley, I really didn't care that much about. I mean, it's hard to really call out a winner for that. I mean, as far as like, do I care about who wins? I didn't. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss was another tragedy. And so really the only match of the night was Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. So this gets a 0 out of 10. The complete lack of effort, complete lack of writing effort, complete lack of character development, complete lack of storyline. I just didn't give a shit. And some of these matches were not just not good, but horrible. So they don't even deserve a 0 out of 10, to be honest. If I could go into negatives, realistically, it's a 0. Because it's just as bad as you could get. I don't know that I've seen a worse pay-per-view, to be honest. At least most pay-per-views have 1 or 2 entertaining matches. This had 1. So that just goes to show you the state of the WWE. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they really do not care anymore. Or, they're trying to fight back against the people that are hating on them, but it's just going to create more hate. Eventually, I think people will get tired of it and start, canceling the network and not watching the programming. Maybe when that happens, if anybody, finally gets the intestinal fortitude to say, we deserve better than this, they'd have to pay attention, but I don't know that it'll happen, honestly. Some people are just hopelessly devoted to a product that has gone to shit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is my review of Extreme Rules, 0 out of 10. They don't even deserve that as far as I'm concerned. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Cage Nation, out.